Hello everyone, welcome to this video about setting up a decent front-end type situation, controller-based situation for your PC, more specifically on a Linux distro. I'm using Arch, by the way. And so I made a video about this a long time ago, and that one focused mainly on using the Steam big picture mode as your front end for launching all your games, not just Steam games, but emulated games, games from other um, like Epic or GOG, other platforms for getting your PC games. And I was never truly satisfied with that, and that was back when I was using Windows. And when I moved to Linux, I said, I got a lot more freedom here. How about I see what I can do? And while this setup isn't perfect, and since I've already have it set up, I won't be able to do like a real step by step of how to get everything running and working. I will go into as much detail as I can. But if you like the idea, stick around, hit that like and subscribe button, and let's throw a little poison into that algorithm because, you know, F the big tech and Google and Microsoft, especially Microsoft and Google. F them both. All right, so let's get started. So the main thing that you're going to be using is RetroArch. I'll get RetroArch up. You can see it already detects my stuff. So from what I've found so far is that the best version to do something like this is use the Flatpak version. If you get RetroArch from the different repositories or even building it on Git, a lot of the files and the directories and your configuration files are going to be going into the root of your Linux distro, which can be super annoying, especially when you want to download new, basically like new cores and stuff. You have to give RetroArch some kind of special privilege to do all that, and I'm too lazy to do all that. So what I found the best thing to do is to use just the Flatpak, because if you just look at where is it, just show you an example, like in the directories. And the main one I had trouble with was cores. As I said before, you see right here it goes to my home, then it goes into var. It goes where it wants to go. If you do it in the using like the repository version, it's going to go to I'm not even sure /etc or you know it just makes things real annoying. So I would suggest Flatpak. And another thing I have noticed, and actually I just had to look it up to double check. So a lot of times, a lot of these like loading cores, where is it? But first, yeah, you definitely want to do the online updater. When you're loading cores, where is it? Oh, okay, here, core downloader. Like this won't be there a lot of times. So what you actually have to do is go into settings, user interface, go down to, where is it? Menu, visibility, and come down here and just make sure, where is it? Like core downloader is on. If it's not, you won't be able to download cores. You have to do that manually. It's just it's stupid. You got this program. It can do everything for you. Make sure you got core downloader installed. And then you go through and get all your cores, and I'll get back into that in just a second. So the next big thing that you're going to want is a program called Emulationstation. As you can see, I already have a lot of stuff set up. I got a bunch of different games and emulators already ready to go. But when the first time you install this, it will ask you to make a ROMs folder, which actually I renamed to games, cause where is it? So here's games. And this has all my games. And as you can see, a lot of these, it's abbreviated. So what you want to do is go ahead and let, not Retroarch, let Emulationstation populate this with all the different folders you're going to need, because not just the folders, but you're also going to have the system info.txt. And when you look at these, this will give you an idea of the file extensions. It gives you the system name, and the abbreviated version. And it'll also tell you the best way to launch it. And there is alternative ways to launch your games. But for the most part, especially any game, from, PS1 era on back, you're going to want to just use Retroarch. All right, so here I got some ROMs. Here's the system info. And so right here, it shows basically the default core from Retroarch is going to be the Mupin 64 plus, blah, blah, blah. So I would suggest getting those just because it'll make things a bit easier. But however, there'll be other games. So I already got set up as PS2. Actually, I don't have. Actually, I did it to a different. So everything with Emulationstation, you can go in and edit the config file. The config file for this, I got to look it up. And that's where you can actually go in and change where sorry, I keep saying Retroarch. You got to look where Emulationstation will actually look for your games. And I will show that in a second. So this is where where basically my config file is for. It might be different on yours for Emulationstation, but yeah, you go through here and you can see all the different systems. And let me get all the way down to, okay, so yeah, in here I got, so I was talking about before that you can actually change the path. If you don't like having certain games, or especially bigger games, if you want to have that on a second hard drive, or SSD really, you can go in here to path and actually direct it towards a new folder with the games. So that's where you'd have to do that in here. For some reason, Emulationstation doesn't give you the option to change any of this like within the actual app. So it's just, yeah, you got to go in here and play with config files. Yeah, and see right there, I got all my PS2 games on a separate hard drive. To get to this file, at least for mine, it's urs /share/emulationstation/resource/systems unix /unix/ and it's es_systems.xml. I guess I'll put that in the description. Using the PS2 as an example, you got the PCSX2 core. Don't use that. Do not. You want to use just the regular PCSX2 emulator, and not just any one. You want to get the nightly version. So let me go ahead and pull that up. So here we got this version of the emulator. You want to get this. Yeah, you want to get the nightly. I got this one from the AUR. So if you're not on an Arch-based system, you'll have to kind of look around. But I found if you're on Arch, use the AUR as much as you can, especially when it comes to these emulators, because this version of it has full controller control, which is not just for the games, but you also have a menu system, which you can set up here in your, where is it? So yeah, here in hotkeys, when you have your controller set up, you can open up the pause menu, and I just have it to the PlayStation button on my PS4 controller. And that will bring that up, and that's, and that's good for just simply exiting the game. When you're in Emulationstation, you want to be able to basically control everything with your controller as best you can. So here's some of my Nintendo 64 games, and I have it set up for Retroarch to handle it. You know, there's a lot of stuff you can do. You can have these uh, outline, whatever they're called, bezels, whatever you call them. And then I already have my controller set up properly for Retroarch, which you'll have to do on your own. If you're using a pretty well-known controller, PS4 controller, even PS5, Xbox, whatever, even I think a lot of the Switch controllers, when you do the update on, when you use the online updater, you can go in here to, where is it? Controller profiles, and it will have everything set up, and a lot of it will be like right out of the box. You might have to go in and screw around with the input, mostly for the menu controls or hotkeys. But yeah, I like having, see right there, it says the PS button it's auto. So anytime I press that button, it's going to bring up the RetroArch menu system. And when I want to get out, just go down here. Where is it? And quit Retroarch, and it quits right back into Emulationstation. So another thing, as you can see, everything's populated here with pictures, videos even. So you'll want to use the scraper for that. There's two scrapers on here. You got Screen Scraper and Game DB. I switch around between these two. Not really just for the pictures, but in videos, but just sometimes it won't recognize your game. So I do have a few games on here that don't have the proper picture. Basically, you can see the scraper, you can see the videos, you can see the pictures, and you can actually go through and create new pictures, and you can actually make new templates for for the front end. I think it's you. Yeah. So here's theme setting, or yeah, here's all the different themes you can go through, and most of these will have everything you need. And then you can kind of screw around with the color, aspect ratio, and just go from there. One little thing that I had trouble with when it came to the PS3 controller, or to the PS3 emulator, is that, oh yeah, see, here's one game that I can't get to populate like a picture and metadata and everything properly. But so as you can see, I have two PS3 sections, because with the PlayStation emulator, you can either use basically a disk folder, or you can use like a package, a PlayStation package file to install it. And Emulationstation doesn't really like when you have two different file types, I guess that's the right way to put it, to use on the, like, within the same emulator or the same game. So I actually had to go through and make a custom entry for PlayStation. So one basically for hard drive, and which is the ones that would be through package, and then another one for disk-based files that I have. So that was a little annoying. I don't really want to get into all that, but it is something to think about. Should go ahead and show you before I forget. Alternate emulators. So every single one, as I talked about earlier in the system info file, it will tell you. So as I was talking about, the Nintendo 64, it has that, whatever it's called. The default is the Mupin 64 Plus. You also have like a standalone. So if you wanted to install it by itself, not through RetroArch, but just the actual emulator, you could select that. But yeah, for that, that's keeping it on default. But here we go to PS2. I have had a little bit of issue on a different computer, but just doing PCSX2 standalone worked. And as I was talking about before, so yeah, here we go. With the PS3, so I got one that's directory, and then I have another one that's shortcut. So I can't remember exactly. So the ones that is a package, so that's why. Because the file type was different, I had to make a second PS3 entry into that ES underscore systems file, and I called it PlayStation 3 package. And that one, I must have gotten mixed up when I did it, but it works. Um, but so you either have a shortcut version, which you would make from the package. So that makes sense. So the package version, I had to make a shortcut, but for the directory, which is the disk-based, there it is. That's how I have it set up. That's probably going in way too much detail, but whatever. But main thing is you got different ways of launching your games, and you can only have one um, basically method of launching the game per uh, per system. The other thing is, I got another program I need to show you guys. That's super important when it comes to Linux gaming, and that is Heroic Game Launcher. So if you're not using Epic Store and you're a PC gamer, I don't know what's wrong with you. They give away free games like every week. So, and sometimes they're actually good games. It's not just like really weird, like I don't know what that, some kind of indie game. They got a bunch of like actual AAA games and they give them away for free. So this program is really good because it will actually, I'm trying to think, what's a game? I don't really want to do a whole. So yeah, you can install the game and set up basically the version of Wine or your version of Proton. So you'll definitely, this is just regular Linux gaming stuff you need to be doing is Proton DB. Go on here, type in, so amnesia, I can't spell or type. Uh, Amnesia. So where is it? Dark Descent, it's Platinum. And go through here and kind of look at what other people are using, what version of Proton. I like to use the, was it Golden Egg version of Proton a lot of times. Um, and that will just kind of ensure that your games should run properly. You will have to mess around with it. But also, when you actually download the game, you can actually have it set up so that it will automatically. No, let me find a small game just so I can do this. Something that won't take very long to download. I should have thought of this before. Uh, Whatever. Let's do this game. Barony. So I'm going to go ahead and use the newest, latest version of Proton GE. And then you install it. Oh yeah, and even has check compatibility stuff already built right in. And so look, if you look right here, you can, this says remove shortcuts. Other times, if you don't already have it set up in the settings, let me find it. There is an option in here somewhere. So yeah, here we go. If you come down here a little bit in your settings in general, you will see add desktop shortcut automatically. And this will work for, not just Epic Store, but also GOG. You go into, you just find your desktop file. You know what, it'll be easier to do it this way. All right, yeah, just go in there. And look, you see the game I just downloaded, Barony. I think that's how you pronounce it. I'm not sure. So you can literally just, copy or cut it out and then go back to your ROMs folder. Here it is, games. And then you find, I don't think, okay, I don't want that one. That's the wrong version. I think it's actually Epic. There it is. Here. Oh, it's right there. Here's the folder Epic. And then you just paste that. And now when I go into Emulationstation, I go to Epic Games and oh, there we go. There's the brand new game. Let's go ahead and do a scrape of that. We'll just see that. Let's do no metadata so that it doesn't try to, it takes a while sometimes, especially when you got a whole bunch of games. So you want to make it so that, you're only going to be trying to pull, all right. You're going to be trying to pull like pictures and video and the metadata for games that you already have for. So let's go ahead and start. And you see right there, probably Pathfinder Kingmaker. And well, this is taking a bit longer. And as you can see right there, it's giving me some crap. All right, let's just do that. But okay, so one game was successfully done. Okay, it wasn't. Oop, didn't mean to do that. Darn. I didn't mean to do that. All right, let's try again. Let's do it with Games DB. Let's try again. There we go. That's better. Well, that's not it, but okay. See, it will give you different versions sometimes. Oh, look at that. Oh man. I don't know why, I don't know why Screen Scraper's so annoying, but a lot of times Games DB is just a lot better for getting the pictures and everything. So now, as you can see, I got it. It doesn't have, there's not a whole lot of information on that game, but yeah. So that's all ready to go. So it's, you can see, it's real simple to get a game, show it on there. It's just basically drag and drop. So yeah, hopefully this gives you an idea of what you can do with the power of Linux. And so the main thing that I've been wanting to try to figure out, but I'm just not good enough in terms in terms of like computing, is I want to be able to get to the point where I can actually turn on my controller and it just automatically launches uh, Emulationstation. I know there is a way to do it. I just don't know how. If you know how, hey, tell me in the comments. Direct me towards a forum post that actually explains it relatively simply. And so yeah, hopefully you like this video. Hopefully you learned something. And I will see you next time. And don't forget, let's put a little poison in that algorithm. So hit that like, subscribe button, and leave a comment. Have a good day.